Hey everyone, my name's meatr0o. I'll let my co-commentators introduce themselves.
I'm Pablocto, long-time fan of meatr0o, and with me I have Gussie as well.
Yeah, I'm Gussie. I like meatr0o.
Alright, so I'll be doing any percent new game monk run. So for those who don't know, it's create a new character from scratch, no stash, no vendors, no paragon. The time will start when I make my first movement input inside the game, and will end when we talk to Tyrael after defeating Malthael. So I'm just going to set up the difficulty and my pet. Cool. So yeah, we'll take a pet because they pick up gold for you, and it can, if gold drops on top of the items that you want to pick, it can slow you down. But alright, yeah, I'm ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go. I smell
Alright, so it's just minor kind of experience optimizations here, right?
Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do is try and set up my XP for this fight, so I can kill these zombies that spawn as part of this event with a well-timed level up.
Yeah, because when you level, you do like an AoE explosion thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is just a thing, yeah. There it is, wipes out the rest of the zombies there.
Low rolled on the punch, so I had to do it twice, but it's okay. So yeah, I guess the first thing to talk about is why monk. So monk get a really strong or really powerful dash movement ability when they hit level 9. And it's got a short cooldown, you can store charges of it, and it doesn't cost any resources, so shush cane.
It goes over walls, etc.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So what we're going to be doing at the start is just killing things that are in the way without wasting too much time. Like we don't want to stop and go too far out of our way, but I'll kill things as I go past it because we want to hit level 9 as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. We'll do a few tricks to help speed that along as well.
Like the first time you kill a specific monster type?
Yeah, yeah. So as I walk through here, there's a couple of different monster types that we haven't seen that aren't zombies. And yeah, the first time you kill a different type, you get a big bonus. So I will go out of my way just to make sure I get those. And
that pumpkin patch was optimal as well. That you destroy destructibles to get a speed boost temporarily. So that was worth the stop to do that.
Yeah, yeah. I'll chase down breakables when I can as well.
And so you're taking out the Wretched Mothers right now as well, kind of just along the way. There's a few spawns, but hopefully they all just kind of line up, and you complete the quest as you get through here. Get the bonus XP, there we go, the last one.
So I missed a Quill Fiend, but...
Ooh. That didn't look like a great item to start.
Alright, so I'm going to do a... Oh. Sorry, my keybinds are messed up.
Do you normally have the item
Yeah, I've got
icons?
the wrong map here. I'll have to fix that up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that was just meant to be, a few seconds saved there, manipulating Leah to, just instantly go and do us an NPC action there.
So I'll have to just take the time to fix that. So in here, just trying to avoid that. Sometimes as soon as you start the fight, they'll do like a phantom cast where they'll do the spell cast but not actually cast the frozen orbs, which means they'll
You don't have to
they'll cast frozen earlier than they otherwise would. So I'm just going to take the time here to quickly fix my keybinds. So it's...
And you mentioned you took a little detour there to the blacksmith hut to try and get a weapon, basically just increase your DPS early. We're looking for blue dagger or blue club. Looks like we got none of that. So
yeah, we low rolled on the weapons too, unfortunately.
Yep. But still, it's just a race to get to level 9, and then the kind of speed of the run really picks up from there.
Alright, so we're entering our first random dungeon here. So a lot of the maps in Diablo Diablo famously has a lot of randomly generated maps. And so a big part of this run is the RNG you get and how good the maps you get are. We can use the background in some maps, including this one, to give a clue about which is the right way. So on entrance, I saw a particular background, so I know there's no exit in the northeast, so I don't have to check the northeast. But yeah, again, we're just going to look for certain mob types. I'll probably avoid too many because my DPS is so low, so I'll have to try and catch up.
Yeah, so it's just efficient killing of enemies to get experience as you're going along. Yeah, getting level 9 is hugely important.
Here we go.
Yeah, excellent. And killing those grotesques there, worth stopping to do that because their AoE does damage to enemies, which is just a quick way to dispose of some of the weaker mobs there. On this difficulty, most things die to, single hits.
What did you do there?
Yeah, so there's normally a cutscene there. Obviously, we skip cutscenes because we want to go fast. And so what I did there is you still have control of your character for the first couple of seconds before the cutscene takes over. So I'll use that in a bunch of points. So there's a trigger to start this fight. So the first couple of skeletons that spawn in. What I'll do is I'll walk towards that trigger. So hopefully I can step on it while in the cutscene. Got it that time. But yeah, there's a bunch of places during the run where that'll happen. Alright, that's better. So we don't have TP unlocked yet. But what you can do is, what I tried to do before, is abuse the waypoint menu to waypoint to places that you, back to town and to certain points from anywhere on the map. I don't know if that was intentional or not. By the developers, but yeah.
Yeah.
I had the wrong map key bound.
So this is just a side quest here to...
It's part of the main.
Oh, part of the main quest. Yeah. It's a detour in the main town to me, but you just taking out the blacksmith's wife here.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do a trick here as part of our journey to reach level 9. So there's some quests that when you turn them in, rather than achieving the objective, like killing Hadrig's wife, you get the XP when you turn it in. So this is the best place to do it. So what we'll do is, rather than turn in this quest after we kill Hadrig's wife, we'll quit the game, turn up the difficulty, and come back in and turn in the quest, then immediately turn the difficulty back down again.
Because the higher difficulty has a big XP multiplier.
Yeah, we'll get a lot more experience. We could probably get like 3 levels off this, so we'll be close to level 9. So if I left in the right point, there should be a town portal waiting for me to get straight back to where Hadrig is. I've got a better weapon.
And then back down to easiest difficulty, kill things as fast as possible.
You want that maximum APM for the difficulty lowering.
Yeah. If only there was an easier way to do it. So I'm still a bit further away from level 9 than I'd like, so I'll try and kill what I can out here on the way. There's a trick coming up. So in the graveyard where we're headed, there'll be 3 different crypts, and only one of them is the right one that has the Oryx crown in it, or the broken crown. So I'll have to use the sound to hear which one. There's a different ambient noise in the correct one. It's quite hard to hear, so I'll have to get a bit of quiet while I do it.
So what is that ambient noise? Is it some kind of bone-chilling wind?
It is a bone-chilling wind.
Very good.
You hear regular wind, and you're like, not bone chilling enough. Can't be right.
Get the close one. See it one sec.
Wrong wind?
No chill.
Wrong wind.
Okay.
3rd crypt, unlucky. But we'll all get to hear the difference between all 3 now.
Yeah, clear as day, definitely.
I'm spooked.
Yeah. So We don't have level 9 yet, but you have picked up Tempest Rush, which is another important skill. Kind of lets you move through units in the way, and will be a good, I mean, hopefully good damage source later, depending on the drops we get.
Yeah, there's a lot of maps which have enemies which just repeatedly swarm you, so Tempest Rush will save us there. So I'm a little further away. I think I probably need to get a couple more kills. I'd like to be about 2 bars away by the time I hit the next quest. That should do it.
Right, so this is just, yeah, just running through to the crypt to get to the end here. It's just a short little map here, isn't there?
Yep, so I'll do a trick here. So there's a guy who's banging on the door. Rather than wait for him, I'll press myself up against his door, break that pot, and it forces him to come out early. And then fighting him is slow. Elites tend to have a lot of health. Now damage isn't great at the moment, so yeah, it's really not worth fighting him. Once we hit 9, we'll start to skip a lot more. We'll take only the mandatory encounters. This guy likes to run and he has knockback, so hopefully I can kill him. I hit level 9.
Yeah, so there's a...
That's juice.
Yeah, that is juice, yeah. Very good. I guess while you talk about Dashing Strike right now, you can see it charging in the number 2 slot there. Holds up to 2 charges. You do exactly what he does just there. You just teleport forward over objects, over certain areas. There's limitations that we'll probably see as we go along. But yeah, you can't hold more than 2 charges, so obviously if meatr0o is ever holding 2 full charges, that is losing speed and losing time, and you should let him know, definitely. He will tell you that there are reasons for it, but...
I'm not sure. I'm not convinced yet. Yeah, absolutely not.
There are moments where I should hold on to 2 charges.
It's absolutely not.
So often there's times where I'll have to do 2 quick dashes in succession. So despite Biblocto's insistence about its efficiency, I assure you.
It shouldn't happen this run, though. Don't worry.
He should never get to 2 charges this one. He's taking it seriously.
So here we're going to release our first follower. So we will invite the Templar to follow us for the rest of the game. He has the best voice lines out of all the followers.
I find that very important myself.
Yes.
The main reason why we take the Templar over the rest is the useful skills that the other followers get are usually quite late. The Templar gets a lot of CC early, and we'll use his assistance to get out of areas where we need to TP when there's enemies around us. He can block hits and we'll slow them. And then once we hit level 20, he gets a skill that gives us more spirit regen, which will become very important because Tempest Rush will cost spirit. So I'm just trying to read the maps here.
Yeah, so meatr0o is just looking at certain map tiles, things that are like little architectural key points that makes him kind of aware what kind of layout the map may have, and using that to hopefully get to the exit as soon as possible. There's subtle things you can look for.
So yeah, this map's laid out in a big square. So we're looking for Leoric. We haven't got the best spawns.
Yeah, the goblins are sadly bait.
Yeah.
Got too much health.
Takes far too long to kill a goblin.
Yeah.
Though yes, casually you would want to kill every loot goblin you see.
He's got an Empower Shrine, which gives cooldown reduction, which means
Yeah,
more
it's a-
dashing strikes, which is sick.
Yeah, yeah. This layout doesn't look amazing, though. So Empower Shrine, great to get now. Oh,
Devastating. You hate to see it.
You hate to see that.
yeah.
So yeah, it looks like it's going to be the last place we looked, unfortunately. So now we're just heading to Leoric, which is going to be our first boss. It's probably an okay time to read a donation or a plug if you've got any.
Yep, awesome. We have $20 from Hexen, who says, good luck, meatr0o. Chat, please abuse any boss who doesn't drop balance for us. Please, reset if you don't get Naive Squirrel's dash map. Thank you for that donation.
So yeah, I guess in that donation, Hexon was referring to balance, which is probably maybe the single most important item that we're going to get in this run.
If we get it.
If it drops, yes.
It's so good.
Does a lot of damage and will help. It will turn bosses trivial. So yeah, probably a good time to talk about the items now. So this is the first guaranteed opportunity that a legendary is going to drop. All the bosses at the end of acts will drop legendaries. They're all guaranteed to drop one. At this point, Leoric's always guaranteed to drop the crown. It's the only legendary on the loot table at level 9, unfortunately. And the affix it has on it is completely useless to us. So it's not the best item.
But I mean, you pick it up anyway, it can be useful later.
Legendaries
Yeah,
have
the
like better
stats will be worth it.
Yeah. And he has a chance of dropping 2 crowns, one guaranteed crown and one other crown. And if he drops 2 crowns, you can pick it up slightly faster and save yourself, I don't know, less than a second.
Yeah, the time it took for that one to drop at the end, which is the guaranteed one.
And then of course you need to find the time to ID the item, identify it before you can actually put it on, which may not happen for a bit yet. As soon as there's a bit of alone time that meatr0o can find, he'll identify that crown.
Yeah, we want to stop as little as possible. So there's certain points during the run where we'll stop to get legendaries identified.
Oh, well done.
Congratulations on that achievement. That's big.
So we have another... this map isn't random, but we're looking for the Khazra Den on it, which can spawn in 4 random locations. So we're just going to route through it and look at all 4 locations. This looks like the last one.
Ooh. There was an enemy on screen very briefly that, yep, you can see the effects just there to the Templar. You don't want them to catch up to you because they will lock you in place. Huge loss of time there. But we have
key warden.
The key warden, yeah.
Yeah.
Coming up, I believe we have the first instance of a fiddle skip, which is big tech. I'll probably let meatr0o explain the exact mechanics behind it, but you'll see it when it comes.
So yeah, I'm just going to run to the side so these guys don't stop me IDing. So I managed to get the crown. Yeah, so the fiddle skip I'm going to do here, when you interact with objects that are in the Diablo world.
Oh, do you get that? Oh, beautiful.
So advanced I don't even understand it when I see it. That's big.
See, when you interact with objects in the Diablo world, there's a sort of a timer that it takes to interact with them. And if you use a skill like Tempest Rush, if you use a skill like Tempest Rush a couple of frames after you start interacting with it, you'll interrupt yourself and get control of your character back. And skills, you'll get your character back, and then you'll still be the game will still think you're interacting with the object because it must just be on a timer rather than any actual association with your character, and so we can start TPing early there.
Yeah, so it saves you a good couple of seconds. It takes about 30 seconds to a minute to explain there, the fiddle skip. So
it takes hours to master.
It takes hours to master
yeah.
and understand.
And you just employed some tech there as well to blind that.
Yeah, the blind's really useful.
Boss or whatever to interrupt its mechanics because he just runs away a lot. Right?
Yeah, there's lots of tough talking bosses that once you get in combat with them, all they do is run away from you, and that Thieves Guild guy is one of them. So what I did there going to town, so I tried to do an NPC manipulation where if you get far enough away from him and stand at that trigger point for the next part of the quest, he should warp to me. I didn't get it, so you can force it by going back into town and then straight back to the zone. Oh, another great try.
Oh, yeah. So the enemies with knockback like that is something that come up a lot as well that you try to avoid. The blind before helped us get through a lot of enemies with bad affixes, kinds of attacks you wanted to avoid. You just briefly interrupt them, so it'll just give you like that millisecond, that second to just keep hitting them, not get hit, and knocked back and slowed down.
Yeah, but we will need Tempest Rush equipped, so I'm going to have to get some Spirit here as well, so we've got a couple more fiddle skips coming up. So
And
I
I guess
get far enough away from these bats so I can walk.
Importantly, in Diablo 3 as well, you unlock your quick slots there, so you actually don't have access to everything, or your passives either, so they'll be gradually unlocked and equipped as we go.
That's a
that
good
was
point.
it.
People up there.
Well, so we've got the fiddle skip on the first orb, but there's no point going for it on the second one. It's just safer not to. It doesn't save you any time because you have to wait for the bridge to come up anyway.
Is that good, the experience shrine? I imagine it is. Is it noticeable? I'm going to say yes.
It could help catch up a bit. But right now it's just kill them as they spawn kind of section.
I believe the fiddle skip's coming soon.
But there is a fiddle skip coming. It's what keeps you going from section to section in the game is the anticipation of the next fiddle skip.
I know.
And here
This
it
game's
is.
really just a...
He's confident, he's got that. It doesn't even
That's some
break his
clean
stride.
skip play right there. Phew.
And so, did we hit level 11? Yeah, okay, so that's, I believe that is where now balance is on the loot table.
It's on the loot table, man.
It's
I
on
can
the loot
confirm that. That's big.
So this event that's coming up actually has an above average chance of dropping a legendary. So it's still pretty slim,
It
but
could happen.
it's greater than just a a random enemy encounter.
I guess, yeah, the items are just like yet another level of RNG that really determines the outcome of the run, sort of thing. Like, you want good maps. You want as much juice as you can get, really.
It'd be great to see it, but yeah, obviously if there is no balance happening, and there's no, there's not a high enough DPS to see what kind of the world record pace looks like, it makes the second half of the game just look absolutely like child's play. If we're unlucky, meatr0o will actually have to play the game in some manner.
You never want that.
No.
You hate to see it.
Sometimes I feel like the devs didn't really intend for that with Diablo 3 either.
Ooh.
She
She was
was
going for a...
there, yeah, where you can go walk back into the cellar and you can jump over the church wall, but didn't get it.
Then had to do the dashless walk of shame around the actual building. But this one is a very juicy skip coming up. Oh, that one's satisfying.
Absolutely lovely. He was slowed down by his tail being between his legs from the first bit, but then he is freed. He's freed of that now.
I nearly tripped on it, yeah. So here we're headed for Arane. So I'm looking for, first time. So I'm looking for this tile. I don't get to really explain the rest of the layout, but there's a 50% chance of going the right way because the first bridge is on northeast or southwest facing way, and then once you go across the bridge, there's a 1 in 4 chance, or 4 different spawns where this Arane exit can be. And I got both first time, which is some great luck. So this is not going to be the best fight against Arane. You can 2-cycle her, so she'll come in and actually might get a bit of a... I did.
Yeah, so
Sorry, I'll explain this in a sec.
Yeah, 2-cycle would be ideal. It would largely depend on your DPS at that stage in the run. probably would be a 3 cycle. If you can lock her in some kind of animation and do DPS over that time, you can lock her in the 2 cycle, but
yeah, my DPS is just too low. So yeah, what we try and do on Arane is she's got a lot of like casting time animations. When she hits certain HB breakpoints, she'll start to run away, but not if she's in the middle of an animation. So that's how we can achieve a 2 cycle, so she won't kill her before she does this 3rd arrival, but yeah.
you don't want to see 4 cycle. There's
You
no
definitely
way.
don't want to see that. That's
Okay, that's good. Yeah. That wouldn't happen to a speedrunner, obviously not.
not a world record holder, surely.
Oh god, no.
So we'll do something slow here on first glance. So we're going to sit here and wait for Karinya to stop and talk to us again. We technically can run off and do the next part of the quest without talking to her. Oh, I'm going to stop and get this. But yeah, so if you don't talk to her, we have to get right on top of the staff, Khazra staff, on this next map, and it's quite big. But if we do talk to her, you can see it just lights it up on the map from really far away. So it's usually worth hanging around and talking to her, unless you're really trying to high roll. But we'll do the marathon safe strats for sure.
But yeah, then after this, it's just kind of a straight shot through. You get a nice juicy skip here with the dashes, but otherwise straight run through. If there's any announcements or donations, probably a good time to do it as well.
Yep, awesome. We have a $40 donation from Jana and Jordan, which says, shout out the boys, meatr0o, Pib, Blocktu, and Jesse. Would say good luck, but we know you don't need it. Much love all the way from Sydney. #word, #wizards.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, will you do a quick look for any of the shrines around here? No, not worth it.
Yeah, no. There's 2 shrine spawns that can go there, so if they were empowered or fleeting, I would go back for them. But yeah, unfortunately, just protection.
And you'll see Dashing Strike that goes through walls, goes through
I
everything.
believe there was a bit of hidden tech there as well, though.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't explain. So that's usually like a big cutscene where we engage those cultists.
That was a gamble, though, because
Yeah.
This door is
this
actually
door
what
is
stops
here.
you.
If
from
that door
dashing.
wasn't there, he would have gone sailing straight through.
So that is the only thing that Dashing Strike can't get through, is doors unrelated to the section of territory you're trying to go over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that event before. Yeah, usually you have to fight the cultists there, and they talk, and you got to kill every single one and talk to the guy that's in the room. But for some reason, that door has no collision box on it, so you can just dash right over it and skip the whole event. Other classes do have to sit and wait through it, but luckily Monk and probably Barb's the only other one that can skip it at this level.
Oof. It's well navigated.
So those chompers tell me I'm going the right way.
Another juicy dash skip coming along.
Here we go, because
Right here. Oh, looks good every time.
beautiful.
I think it was probably good if the stream didn't see that, because there was a moment of 2 dash.
There
that
was
we-
the charges were stacked, and it made me a little bit sick, but we got past it.
So
We'll
better
keep
to
that our
just-
secret.
Yeah. Well, I did just tell everyone, but
Yeah, actually, we did, outed.
and now we're just looking for some prisoners' remains. As I called it earlier, it's a bit of a Where's Wally quest, looking for just parts of skeletons throughout this map.
We're freeing some tortured souls.
That's a bit nice.
But really, there's no... I mean, I'm sure there's probably a lot of spawn locations, but no real tactic other than just looking for them around here, meatr0o.
There's a couple of different types of maps that can spawn. Unfortunately, we got a bad one here at the start.
Devastating.
Makes it hard to commentate sometimes, meatr0o, I'm going to be honest with you, when you dash like that. But we'll see some good ones later.
Really just makes it difficult to look you in the eyes, but that's okay. We'll get through
Yeah,
it.
some of the... It doesn't matter where the doors are, and they can be difficult to read on the fly. But they can stop you from dashing over some walls. But it's okay, only 2 to go.
And you're very close to level 12 there. Are we getting any juice at 12? Anything happening
Unfortunately,
there?
nothing useful at 12, no.
Devastating.
Yeah, in terms of experience, I know we're really looking to get to level 20 is once we get our final passive slot for speed. After level 20, we're really not interested in leveling up at all anymore. I mean, we'll mention again once we get there.
Yes, as per our research, I believe that's true. But also, level 15 is a goodie. Because Dashing Strike gets a move speed rune.
Yeah, we'll get a rune on it that will increase our move speed for a short time after we dash. So that's what we're looking forward to. But yeah, once we hit 20, there's no more no more skills that we can, that are useful to us for the run.
Very
That's a
nice
big
stuff.
boy.
Yeah.
If you fail that, that is quite a walk of shame.
It is a very
I've done it
important walk of shame.
many times myself. But I'm not a world record holder. So.
But yeah, once we hit 20, all that leveling will do is make the bosses, particularly Malthael, harder, because the enemies scale with you in this game. So yeah, once we hit 20, we'll do our best to not kill anything else.
Again, as the game was intended.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I believe we're on our way to the Butcher right now. And I believe it's a reprise of a boss that we've seen in Diablo 1 and 2. So it'll be a popular one for fans of the series.
Absolutely.
I know I'm
One
excited.
boss, yeah.
Right now, though, just looking, again, reading tiles constantly is what meatr0o is doing here, just making sure he's on the right track.
Yeah, we got a bit of a gift at this one. When we were sitting here, we saw where the exit was on the map. So I know where the right way to go is after that. So we're up to our first, at the end of Act 1, and our first Act boss. So this is our first real opportunity to get a good item. So everyone cross your fingers at home.
Hugely mechanically intensive
Yeah,
fight.
the mechanics are to play it as poorly as possible, pretty much. You just stand next to the wall and get hit by everything.
Yes. So CC,
Which is optimal.
Yeah, diminishing returns on CC from enemies. So that after that first knockback, you're not really going to get knocked back again. So just sit there and take it. You will win.
Blast him.
So all I'm looking to do is to keep enough spirit to do the next rune. But unfortunately our damage is really bad. So we'd love the Butcher to drop a damage item here.
What are we getting, boys? What are we...
Well, boots, which could be good. Okay, not good. Based on that reaction.
That wins. Yeah, that's not good.
The disappointment was due to the fact that there are really good boots that can spawn there that would scale to the late game, but unfortunately we got the ones that aren't useful. Legendary boots are always good because they are very likely to roll high move speed affixes on them. And that's the end of Act 1.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
And
Gonna find an optimal time to ID those.
yeah,
those biddies.
those shameful boots are going to sit in your inventory for a while before you can even put them on. And I guess the only thing to really talk about coming up here is the Enchantress, just to...
Just give it the cold shoulder,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, we'll give her the cold shoulder. She wants to talk to us there, but it's faster to just leave her behind. So it's another NPC manipulation. So there's a part in the quest up here where she'll help us. She's going to help us dispel a few illusions that the cultists have planted for us. So if we pick her up there, she'll follow us all the way to here, and we have to wait for her to walk to this point. But if we just leave her behind, she'll TP there once we get there.
If you may have some time to ID here, I think, if things go well. Ooh, okay, if that little green mosquito thing had have hit him, it would have had to redo that ID.
We would have screamed, not the bees.
Yeah, it's quite a while before I can have another attempt at it in this act as well. So that was very close. Lines.
All right, Howling Plateau. Yeah, we're looking to disrupt 2 rituals, so 2 locations we're looking for. Here's the first one, the secret altar.
Do you have to kill all the cultists to interrupt their ritual?
No, you do not, Gussie. Have a look at that, just 1 cultist.
I guess you can't make a pentagram with only 4 cultists.
That's right. They needed all 5 to make a pentagram, and if you only have 4, it's just a square. You're not summoning anything with that.
Good.
So yeah, there's a bunch of random spawns on the left side and the right side for each, so just running between these spawns, refreshing my move speed in here, because this is the last opportunity I'll get until we get to Alcanis.
So not enough to kill a cultist, smash all of their belongings as well. Again, optimal.
They killed Kane, so they brought it on themselves.
It's true.
I've been playing for a long time, but Kane dies.
Yeah. I got bad news about Leah as well.
She's sick.
So yeah, this is just a big run to the next area, so if there's any donations or plugs you want to do, now's a good time as well.
Awesome. We have $10 from Nikusa, who says, "Hi ASM. Hope everyone is warm and cozy. It's great to get a Diablo run as we wind up the second last day of the marathon, especially when it comes with such fantastic explanations of how and why each trick works. Good luck, meatr0o. Put this towards your preferred challenge." What would you like me to put that donation towards?
Do you have a preferred incentive?
Whatever the next one is, I'll take. I haven't had a look
Yep.
to see what's still available.
We have the superliminal 80% bonus run, which is 60% of the way. I could put it towards that if you like.
Sounds good.
Good. Okay, awesome.
So another little NPC manipulation there. So if you just keep talking to him, he knows he has to go to that gate.
We are pointing at the screen right now, meatr0o, for a very good reason. There was a long moment of 2-dash there.
There was 2 dashes, but I have another excuse.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple of zones, that one included, where if you do dash out of those stairs, out of Alcanis, it will consume 2 charges instead of 1.
Ooh.
And just a bug, don't know why. So unfortunately, we do have to hold the dashes there. It is optimal. I promise.
And here's a good one.
Oh.
First time.
That's big. When doing my research, I didn't actually see that one. Yeah, that's big.
So unfortunately, there's more people who want to be saved, but we've got to go fast and avenge Kane.
That's true. They can sort themselves out. Post Magda. Probably. As we discussed.
Yeah, so we mentioned before that Superliminal run as well. Actually, Superliminal is a great game. I recommend sticking around to see. Hopefully that incentive gets met. You can't hear me, Gussie? Is that what's happening right now?
A little bit, no.
Yeah, it's hard to hear each other, but that's fine. We have such great repertoire, I think, that we can
Well, the thing is, I try not to listen to you even when I can.
This is working perfectly for both of us then.
I didn't mean that.
It's a little demonstration of the great power within Leah that she mentioned in Act 1. So something's fishy in Alcanis. For some reason there's snake men in the throne room, but we skipped the cutscene, so we're not sure why. If you played this game before, you might be.
I've played this game before, and I don't know why.
We shall find
I skip the cutscenes every time.
So we're headed to the sewer, because if things are bad in the throne room, hide in the sewer. So the sewers in Act 2 are quite famously tough to navigate. There's a lot of dead ends, and a lot of them are actually unsolved, so we're not sure how they're stitched together. I don't like this one.
Am I crazy? Did we see a legendary drop before? Oh, no.
I believe that was maybe meatr0o tossing it out of his inventory.
Oh. It's
Not-
just such a blur, I couldn't see it. With the naked eye, it's imperceptible.
Great level there.
So exploding palm is useful as just a DPS skill to have there. Can
It's got huge
clear-
modifiers on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
modifiers.
savior of low DPS runs. What we can do is just apply it to nearby mobs, and they'll kill high health mobs
When they die.
when they die. Yeah. So we just found Leah's mum, Adria.
Is she a nice lady?
She was hiding out in the sewer. She might be a nice lady. Leah's pretty excited. Hopefully nothing goes wrong.
And that has got to be, what, like the 10th treasure goblin that you've passed? Which is...
It does hurt.
Yeah.
To run past them. That's always the first question I get from people who first see me do these runs. Is they're like, oh, maybe you should stop and get that treasure goblin, and it'll have a good weapon that'll help the run. But they just take so long to kill, even on normal difficulty.
And the sad reality about Diablo 3 items as well, they're mostly bad. Most of them are bad until you get balance.
Until you get balanced. And then they're still bad if they're not balanced.
If they're not balanced, they're bad.
If you had to describe treasure goblins in a word, Ben, what would you... Piplock, sorry.
Oh, you've unmasked me.
It's all right. We're staying positive about the item situation, so we're just going to get a later balance, which the DPS will scale better into the late game.
So it's still not lost to get a balance. Act 2, still a great time to get a balance here, and you will hear us say the word balance many times throughout this run until it happens. Hopefully we can channel some of those good vibes, but in the Oasis, not a lot happening right now. I don't think we're just looking for...
Yeah, it's another
goblin?
static map that has random... Well, the place I'm looking for is randomly positioned on the static map, so...
Yeah. So if you wanted to make an announcement at all, that's another good time as well.
Cool. We got a $30 donation in from Naive Squirrel, who says, I hope you'll get a balance on meatr0o, smile emote.
Oh.
Also, you better get the correct map on Act 3 or Rage Quit, D:. Jokes aside, have a good run. Hope Act 5 doesn't treat you too badly.
Thanks, Naive Squirrel.
A little bit of foreshadowing, probably. Hopefully not.
Yeah, there's a very good dash that he in fact discovered that hopefully I'll get to show off later in the run. So now we're looking for body parts of Zoltan Pool. Unfortunately, we get his head first. He does like to talk a lot. There we go. So I'm going to try and get out.
And Templar did not do his job
devastating.
there. So ideally the Templar is meant to, charge into those enemies, CC them in some way so you can just TP without having to do that.
Sometimes he doesn't do his job.
He's meant to body block for the boys, but he didn't.
So they're going to have a little moment here. I'm going to interrupt by... didn't get it. So you can talk to Leah and interrupt if you're quick enough. It'll save you some time. Going to use the waypoint because it wasn't too far away.
So that is, a beautiful mother-daughter reunion.
Yeah, I honestly don't think anything terrible's going to happen. They might have dinner or something and that's it.
Well, Gussie, if you're a connoisseur of Diablo 3 lore, I think you'll find it's actually the opposite.
Oh
It's
my
not a
goodness
good
me.
thing.
Well, I'm not, so...
But let's
here
watch
we
on
are.
and see what happens.
Stay tuned.
So we're headed for more sewers.
So that enemy's last words was, "You will not enter the aqueduct," and then you entered the aqueduct.
They don't know who they're messing with.
So I believe one of these flow controls, so we're looking for the western flow control and the eastern flow control. Now, eastern flow control or is it the eastern channel is fine as a map, but the western flow is just an absolute nightmare?
Other way around. So the
Other way
western's
around.
okay. We understand how it works. So looking for a loop here, and as soon as I see it, I'll know I'm on the right track. This could have been it back here.
It's a Western channel famous for having it's a wide set channel with a heavy flow. You don't want that.
No.
So yeah, this looks like it's probably the loop. And that's the way I was going. Excellent. But yeah, the eastern is a lot more complicated. So there's sort of I think tile types, and there's a lot of different ones that the eastern can use. So yeah, I might hit a few dead ends trying to escape from this.
And so we're nearly at 15, aren't we? So this is the 15 is the, what was it, the Way of the Falling Star? Is that the
I
route?
believe that's the name of it, and it changes your dash tech a little bit because, well, I mean, you never really want to dash twice in a row because it would mean that you've already stocked up on your dashes, which we hate to see. But you kind of want to put 4 seconds between your dashes optimally to get the most juice out of your
so the
your
rune,
move speed buff.
Yeah, the rune gives you, was it 20% move speed after you dash?
Yep, 4 seconds.
For 4 seconds, so you can space out your dashes, get a lot more speed over the course of the run, from level 15 onwards.
Alright, we're out. That wasn't too bad.
meatr0o was telling me earlier that a good run through the eastern channel is one where you don't go into every single dead end, so the bar's pretty low, and that's good, or whatever.
That is very true. I would say if I don't have to explore every single dead end,
Yeah.
I'm pleased.
Yeah, if we didn't have to fill for too long, that was a good sign.
Yeah, that's... I'm already running out of material, and I think I've spoken twice.
Now on a way to find a crucible. That was it stolen from Shen?
No, they're both down here looking for the crucible. This was his young partner betrayed him and stuck him in that barrel. So we're gonna go get some payback.
See some of the...
I'm gonna try and lure one of these mobs over, exploding palm them, and do most of his health.
Yeah, went by in a blink of an eye.
And that's what you get for locking Shen in a barrel.
And it's good to see, as a world record holder, you also have an absolute love for the lore of the game as well. That is important. To keep you
World
going.
record knowledge.
World record knowledge, yes.
True. I have had cutscenes turned off for a very long time now, but...
Brings a tear to my eye. I'm so proud of you.
And do you think for this run you could let Zoltan Cool play out his voice lines?
I'll try.
He speaks a lot, probably from now until you get him to shut up.
Until we put him together and then we take him apart immediately.
But yeah, this is another, I guess, good opportunity to go through some announcements as well, some donations.
Yep. We have $10 from CJ, who says, "Cheering for you, meatr0o. Let's see another world record. I demand more lore explanations from the cute commentators." Donation goes to the commentator's choice. Wink. So where would you like that donation to go?
I personally liked Superliminal, but Gussie, you can overrule me on that one if you would like.
Do it.
Okay.
Lock it in. Please.
both going
cool.
for that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, CJ, whoever you are.
Unknown person.
Okay, so there's a lot of spawns on this map. I'm going to try and make up some time by going for the high roll. So there is one right near the exit. Everyone fingers crossed that it's there. It's not.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't give you enough time to cross your fingers. I'll wear that.
That is a large zone. I don't
Yeah,
like
so
it.
unfortunately the waypoint wasn't near the exit either. So we'll have to leave the way we came.
Oh! Look, it's better than nothing.
So that'll be a great damage increase, because at the moment I'm still using one-hander.
That is pretty grim.
So I'll have to find
In
an
Diablo,
opportunity.
all your damage, as you know, Ben, probably triple like to whoever you are, scales off your weapon damage. So the actual DPS roll on it is, he's got the rune that we talked about. We know stuff. But yeah, so all your damage is scaled off the flat damage on your weapon.
Right.
And legendary rolls are better. So if you get a legendary weapon, it is juice, even if it's not balance. But
yeah, so
you
that
would
was
like it to be in balance.
could really care less about what that legendary item is, but it does damage. So
Yeah, it doesn't do anything really. I think it has a chance to blind, which is actually kind of alright, I guess. If it's, what is it? Is it?
Well,
Spy-hander
meatr0o will have some time to ID it.
Yeah,
when they can snatch away
in
some
like
time.
15, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
something like that, when there's just a brief lull in this blistering gameplay.
Sorry, there's a bit of focus for me as I try and make decisions on the fly about where to go. Here we are.
And so
Try and get out before these zombies can catch me. Oh, close.
Can't catch a break.
So you can. Oh, he's going for it again,
Oh.
right in the mid.
This man knows his stuff. I wouldn't risk that myself, and that's why,
That was exploding palm doing work.
you know,
Crunched the numbers, knew the timer. What else can you say? You saw the evidence.
Okay, so in here we're looking for more Zoltan Cool artifacts. I'll let Zoltan Cool to explain.
I hope he never stops explaining.
And so there'll be 3 different chambers we go into before ultimately fighting Zoltan Cool. Sorry for the spoilers there, but the game is about 10 years old.
It's older than that, I dare say.
I dare say as well.
Dare you?
So I can cut across this tile.
Interesting naming choice for this zone. It's the unknown depths, but
Well,
it's a soft bloody game.
it is yeah, probably one of the more easy to read maps in this section. Is that right, meatr0o?
Yeah, these don't have too much variation. There's usually like a 50-50 split you've got to make a decision of, and once you hit this tile here that I'm on, this long straight, you know you're on the right way. So I'll open a lock here and then do a very similar looking map on the other side. And then we'll do a very similar looking map once again, except this one will be spooky.
And at this stage of the game, is there really much point in killing mobs as we run past them?
We'll incidentally kill them just by dashing over them and that sort of thing, but not really. The XP we get from quests and bosses and stuff will usually be enough. I'll still get XP shrines on the way as I go past if they're not too far out of the way. But just from quests alone, I'm guaranteed to hit 20 at some point in Act 5 at least. I'll definitely go over, despite the fact that I'm trying not to. So, but again, you sort of do want to hit 20 as early as possible because it is a speed increase, but you'll also put you closer to being above 20 faster, if you know what I mean.
I guess it is a sort of interesting mechanic that Diablo 3 has, where everything scales to your level, including item drops. So, for example, as we were talking about balance before, if it drops very early, by the time you get to level 20, it's got an item level of 11. If it drops to level 11, and then, might not be as juicy as you want against the hard boss.
Yeah, so it can...
But it's still juicy.
If you get balanced too early, yeah, that's right. It can be...
If you had to name it something?
It could drop off by the end, but it'll still be great. And then if you get it in Act 2, it should be able to carry you to the rest of the game.
Which is what it happened, I believe, in the world record run.
Yeah, check it out. Check out the VOD. It's very
This
impressive.
guy got. That's big.
But balance is a unfortunately bad example there because in this run, doesn't matter when you get balance, it's great. So
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no chance of it really dropping too early because you love to see it. Ideally, get 2 balances, one early, one late.
Maybe even 3. Can't really do much with it, but it'd be cool. Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
Well, it doesn't hurt to upgrade your balance.
True.
So after this, Realm of Shadow, I believe we're coming up to the Zoltan Cool fight, the confrontation.
The Templar was right all along, and he is going to betray us after we just got his body. And,
I guess you could mention that book you just picked up, that journal, was a bit of a lore drop, but also gives you XP to pick it up. So it pays to.
So it's win-win.
Yeah, it is win-win. Yes.
So Cool's back together, and let's quickly work on pulling them apart. So I'm going to try and Exploding Palm his friends, and I'll take him down with them.
So Exploding Palm, it's when the enemy dies, it does an AoE of damage. So
With, I believe, like a 1500 multiplier or something like 1500%.
it's very large, yes. As you saw, Zoltan Cool just exploded as soon as one of the ads died there.
Swihand is already gone. Sorry.
Okay,
Oh,
yep. Hopefully you could rewind and maybe pause to see what that item was, but it wasn't good enough.
So we've got some more fiddle skips as long as my spirit holds out here. Usually have to wait for the monk to interact with the cart, but we're going to try and...
Beautiful.
It's going well so far.
Again, imperceptible to the naked eye. I don't even know if he's getting these, but he must be.
Well, you'll know if he fails it because he'll either have to go back and press the card again or stand there fiddling for a long time. Hence the name of the trick, the fiddle skip.
I'm out of spirit now, so you'll
That's
see
big.
how slow it normally is.
That one wasn't much of a fiddle, but you get the idea.
I'm going to drop these guys in the sewer. Now we're going to discover that our little friend Emperor was tricking us all along.
So much of deceit in this game. I don't like it.
So the reason why there were snakes everywhere is because he chose for them to be there.
That'll do it, I dare say. That will do it.
It makes sense.
So yes, we'll be
So
fighting.
this is Belial
Belial.
coming up, yeah. And another guaranteed legendary.
Yeah, and
This could be it.
pretty straightforward fight as well here. I guess we'll probably have time for some more donations announcements as well if you'd like.
Yep, I might take this moment to talk a bit about the other incentives that we have lined up for the rest of the marathon. So I have the Superliminal 80% run, which we've been working towards, which is currently now at 63% of the way. So we've gone over the halfway mark, and we need $375 more to get that run in. We want to see more of the marathon, so let's try and get that bonus run in. We also have a category selection bid war for the Time Crisis 3 run. You can pick between Alan or Wesley, and currently Alan is in the lead, so if you want to see Leslie, get your donations in. Thank you.
Alright. So yeah, back into it, as you saw, it's a pretty weak first phase. Second phase, boss doesn't move, and again we just have the DPS and the health to just tank everything it does.
Absolutely.
Let's see something
Pretty cool.
good.
Pretty cool fight, though.
It's a belt.
That's just that.
Never a good sign.
You never want anything that isn't really boots or a weapon. Pants can be good, but you don't need a belt to hold up the pants. The pants itself are fine. And yeah, we're in Act 3 now as well. So this first section, probably a bit to talk about once we start getting to the... after the signal beacons, we'll start doing the catapults.
And there is is it the first chance of a soft lock?
Yes, so this act is a little scary. So at the start here, this is non-random, so we're just going to try and move through here using our dashes as efficiently as possible. But the next area, there's, to explain, there's 3 catapults that we have to guard the troops while they raise them, so they can be used against the approaching hordes. And so, to save time, what we're going to do is we're going to start the catapult events, and we're just going to walk away. If we get far enough away from them, the enemies raising them won't spawn, and they'll just be able to raise them unopposed, then we just babysit the last one. But what'll happen is if any elites are nearby that we miss, or we don't get away fast enough, or some mobs walk over close to it, they'll kill the guys raising the catapult and the game will soft lock. So I'll do my best to avoid that, but it can be a run killer.
So we're going to leave them to fend for themselves, and if they can't,
It's a
lock.
We'll get our just desserts.
This is another set map, isn't it? Or is this
Yeah, this is a timed event, so there's nothing I can do to speed this up. So now's a good time for any announcements or donations, if there is any.
We're all caught up on donations right now.
Okay.
But for those who want to donate, there are some prizes that you can actually win for donating, such as a minimum $40 donation could get you in the draw to winning a HyperX Cloud 2 headset, which is really awesome. Also, a HyperX Cloud Buds you could also get with a minimum $20 donation, so get those donations in.
Alright, so we waited all that time for those enemies to spawn so we could dash over them.
Can only
We'll leave
dash
them to
over.
fend for themselves as well. So here we're running to the first catapult event. So I'm going to be very careful here. So those guys shouldn't follow me.
And that's it,
I'm
that's as
gonna
much help
let
as you're going
these
to give them.
guys out of the gate and run away. There were some elites there, but I think they're far enough away that we should be okay. So I'm going to start this event as late as possible to give me some time to get far away. These elites should follow me towards the third.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. And I'll get to babysit this event.
Is there a way to tell that something's gone horribly wrong? Like just the...
So we will have to restart this mission. So it's not desirable.
There's a way out of it at least.
Looks like they're all progressing pretty nicely though. So I've got to make sure I touch this winch every once in a while, otherwise this guy abuses me. I don't have to be too precise or perfect in touching it as soon as it's ready, because the first catapult event takes longer than the other two, even if you start them later. Just making sure the progress bars are still going.
It's still going?
It's zooming. Slowly. It's
Okay, I
slowly
think
zooming.
we're okay. I was very scared, but I think we're okay.
I tried my best to jinx it. I don't know why.
So we'll just wait at Teriel for the last one to finish.
That vigilante belt that dropped before, the unique. Not very interesting. However, it does have a guaranteed roll of CDR. Cooldown reduction for more dashing. The only belt in the game that rolls that. So there you go. I'm in it.
Not bad as far as belts go. Good game knowledge, Gus.
Thank you for noticing. Just a little thing
So these areas actually, as we said before, dashing strike can't defeat doors. Doors are the main thing that cause an issue. So as you see, this is just door central here. You can try and dash over into other rooms, but there's a good chance there's a door stopping you. I haven't seen any major run-ins with the wall yet, but it will be embarrassing, and we will probably groan when it happens.
I've already got a groan in the chamber. I'm ready to let it out.
Just taking it safely, just opening the doors normally. That's a good choice.
I think he just... if you look
Trying
at the
desperately
charges
to
there-
avoid the groan.
Oh, okay. There it is. There's the door. I mean, you should have known, but I appreciate you going for the fastest possible strat there.
Here we go. So we're looking for this particular lava tile to know we're out of GOM 1.
That's Gom 1, so called because at the end of this dungeon is the boss Gom.
Yeah, he's a big old blob, isn't he?
Yeah, he's hiding in the most elaborate keeps ever designed.
And he also couldn't fit through any of these doors, I don't think.
No.
He's come up from
Absolutely
below them, I suspect.
That makes sense.
So we're going to try, the exit to this tile is in a northwest direction, so we're going to try and head that way as much as possible.
Is it worth equipping 7-sided strike at this stage, or are we sticking with the
I will take it before we hit Gom. It's a great Gom killer, because he has no ads around him, so exploding palm isn't the best.
Yeah, so 7-sided strike, great single target.
Here we go.
You'll get to see in this fight.
So this is a pretty good 3. So there's 3 exits that can possibly be the right way to find where Gom is. It's either the northwest, northeast, or southwest. I was trying to see if there was a door in the way there. But by spawning and entering from the northeast, that rules out one that we have to check. Ooh, it's a long run. We always try to go for the high roll there, but it's not a door there.
Doors, man. Doors.
Oh, that's a dead end anyway. So fortunately there's only one more side to check.
I'll stay silent for that one, sorry, meatr0o.
Appreciate it. Kick a monk while he's down. It's alright, he's the right way. So yeah, Gom isn't too much to worry about on normal difficulty. 7-sided strike can usually deal with him before he gets to do anything really to us.
I don't have enough spirit.
Pretty much done for the duration.
He doesn't have enough spirit. You did your little sneaky input thing?
There's no trigger here to start the event earlier, unfortunately.
And are you aware of what this event is for? Do you have a lore update for where we are currently in Diablo 3?
This is actually one that escapes me.
Just one. Otherwise, the narrative of this game is very clear, easy to follow.
There's something fishy going on with Leah, I think. She's using her powers. It's something to do with the Soul Stone. Sorry, that's all I've got for you.
A tale as old as time.
Some fishy's going on. Say no more.
But what's coming up is just a lot of open world traversing, right? There's, yeah, crossing the Bridge of Corsic, and then just more open areas, I think.
Yeah, we've got a big northeast run ahead of us.
Which, mercifully, I guess the game design is new. You know, northeast is kind of the longest distance you can dash, right? Because of just the way the kind of isometric map's set up.
Yeah, small mercies, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to go, what, bottom right is the worst?
I didn't want to start talking about the directions. I was hoping you would, but basically we're going the good ways.
Yeah, the good way.
So we're just going to
Getting
stop
good
these
in.
catapults and trebuchets from assaulting the keep. Just one more to go. Should be up here.
Last one.
I threw you from the walls of the keep.
And then this is just like a simple display of dash min-maxing, I believe. Just absolute efficiency on the dashing.
I did see 2 dashes as soon as you said that. I'm sure you were hoping
Well, I
we
mean,
didn't see that meatr0o, but that did happen.
That's what we should be seeing.
So here I will be safer than normal and try and bank some because of tiles like that. There are ones that can save you a lot of time if you have dashes stored.
And Line Shrine, nothing really to write home about at this stage.
we'll take it.
Take the blessing where you can.
is impossible.
Can't dash over that because of this burning debris.
Yeah, there's some weird collision boxes there, so I'll just be conservative and walk around it. So we're heading to another mini boss, the Siegebreaker Assault Beast. He's another one that we should just be able to just dispatch pretty easy with 7-sided.
That's right, had a backup.
Luckily, luckily I was banking
That's why we
on there.
bank 'em, boys.
Yeah, rare example of 2-dash paying off.
Alright, so we're at Siegebreaker.
That was tech.
Yeah, I'll walk towards him there, so I'm closer when he busts out of the gate, so I can 7-side it immediately, kill him, and then.
Not
That was
interested in what he
beautiful.
drops.
That was just, what a delight to behold. Start to finish, just.
So now we're getting taunted by the next boss. So this map, there's these craters in between some of the maps. Generally, we want to head in a northeast direction. Looks like we have some non-standard directions we're heading in, but we still probably are going the right way.
Yeah, you're just about reading the RNG, adapting on the fly. To be like water, as a monk.
Or
Go with the
lava in
flow.
this case, maybe.
Okay.
Is that Bruce Lee?
It might be.
Cool.
Alright, is this first level is always the same?
This one's always the same, yep. So we're just winding down this tower. The second level can be one of 2 different spawns. So moving through these is, we're just trying to efficiently use our dashes to get through them. So jumping corners whenever we can. It's generally tough to get speed boosts here. The breakables are pretty far apart, but I will have my eye open for those.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Probably should have pointed out before. So it's groups of 5 or
A 7 plus.
7 plus, okay.
So if you get 7, you'll get 30, and then up to a maximum 13 to get a full minute.
Ah,
And you have to destroy them in some
Within
amount
a
of window of
certain
time.
frame, yeah.
an unknown time.
An unknown time
Yes,
frame.
can't-
Could be a second, could be 14 minutes, who knows?
There's no way to find out.
Absolutely not.
So this is the first encounter we'll have with Sadao, so got a little jump to skip
Big one.
that run around.
Oh, that was a juicer.
Yeah, there are some juicy dashes. Maybe coming up, depending on the kind of maps you
Yeah,
get.
what is the zone of the new tech?
Oh,
Yeah, so there's another, the don't know before, mentioned the dash that's coming up here. So I'm actually going to try and just punch Sadao down because I want to save my 7-sided. I can kill these guys. 7-sided here, hopefully kill the heart. I'm going to waypoint to the next crater, hopefully before anything gets me.
Oh, and that's why we take the Templar,
why we take
boys.
the
What a
Templar.
hero.
So you were actually able to pull it to the area you're going to before you've activated the waypoint there.
Yeah, so that's one of the few places. It happens again in this crater, in the next crater as well. The waypoint activates as soon as you finish the quest before. And the waypoint's ahead of where you are at the moment, which is the unique part. So if you can get the time, you can try and waypoint rather than walk, and it'll save some time.
Which it did. 'cause the
It can be
Templar-
hard there because mobs, as soon as you kill the heart, mobs immediately start pouring in over the walls, but we got lucky there. And obviously the Templar played his role like an absolute champion.
And we have we start talking about this new tech, this new dash tech that will be possibly coming up.
Yeah, so it's not this level, the one after. So there's a big dash which saves like 15 seconds of running around stairs maybe. So hopefully I'll get to show it off.
So about how often do you get to do it? How many different kind of map layouts? are
There's
there
only
for that
2 different ones, so I don't actually know the chances of each spawning, but could be 50-50. I don't know if one's more likely than the other.
That's all
Who
right.
discovered this big tech?
Naive Squirrel, another runner.
Okay, so we're going to find out if this is the zone that we do the tech on, or
No,
No, it's not.
if it's
didn't get it.
if it was different though.
It was. It's actually one of the greatest things you'll ever see. That's a shame. It's a real shame.
It's a real shame because it would have been sick.
It's a real shame to get that skip. It's also a shame we haven't seen balance. Not two great things we haven't seen yet. But never too late for a balance, I think, meatr0o.
And also
Still.
never too late for just a fun time with your friends. And I think that's lovely.
Yeah, never too late to
It's never too late.
donate to charity as well. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what this is all about.
True.
All right, so we're gonna silence Sadea for good now.
I get a little bit confused between Sardea and Adria. I thought they were the same person, didn't I?
Oh,
So
no.
that's good.
Oh no, no, no.
So I will 7-sided here, so I'm going to do the same thing is I'm going to kill the heart. Some spiders shoot, one of her skills will drop like a spawn for spiders, that green zone. So I'm going to hopefully get far enough away that I can kill the heart and TP out. And it takes some time for the quest to finish, so get out, quest finishes, waypoints open,
Lovely.
and we're there.
And is this just another straight shot towards Azmodan then?
Yep, yeah, this map is always the same. So we're just heading to Azmodan. Another fearsome Act 3 boss, who will just 7-sided strike, and hopefully that'll be enough.
I've got some absolute comedy gold. Absolute comedy gold
Okay.
if he manages to kill Asmoden. Just
Hey.
brace yourselves.
Okay, all right.
I can already tell that the crowd's going crazy in anticipation.
All right, here he is. Azmodan coming up. Gussie, I will withdraw and leave the stage to you.
More like as no Dan. You getting that? You get it. It's laid. It's really good.
It was worth it.
That was a big one.
So we're looking at going to the next act now.
Whew.
Is what we're doing.
No, let us sink in first. Let us sink in first. Those are homing pads. Those are good. That is actually good.
They're best in this act because they allow the waypoint tricks,
So we just
but
kind of missed
we'll
the-
take them.
So these are some legendary shoulders. The legendary power letting you channel town portal without interruption.
Mhm.
And you take reduced damage during it, which doesn't matter in a normal run through, but there you go.
But the template will still have a use because its final ability is spirit regeneration, which is very good
Yes.
for the mod.
Look, it's good, but it's not as good as something like saying as no, Dan.
Okay. You're not going to get it again. You got one pity laugh, that's it.
It was 2 pity laughs.
So we take the time to fight those little shadow creatures in the first phase, but in the second phase, because they'll block him returning, in the second phase it just seems to be timed. So we can use that time to do our inventory. So unfortunately, I got 2 legendaries, which is good, the homing pads, but unfortunately it was another belt. And as we talked about earlier, our pants stay up just fine, so belts generally don't have any great speed.
What are those? The new belts that witching hour? No, it's not. What's it called?
The belt I got,
String of ears or something?
it was
So-
gold wrap.
Gold wrap. Oh, I choked.
But for this next area, is there a lot going on, meatr0o, or are we just kind of exploring?
So there's another mini boss coming up here, and then I'm going to be looking for hell gates in these spawns. So hopefully I get it early, but yeah, it's pretty straight shot, not random. So if there's any donos, now's a pretty good time.
Yep, we have a $60 donation from Whisperer, who says, "Best of luck on the run, meatr0o. Enjoying this game knowledge."
Thanks for spare.
All right, so now, yeah, we're back. So Brackenhoff dispatched immediately, which most bosses will kind of be like that. But yeah, now we're looking for the Hell Rifts. There's one, that's what they look like.
So there's a bunch of random spawns those growths are in, so we're just trying to find the right one. So we'll just check them in order and hopefully we get it sooner rather than later. Just save us some time. So the hard part about this area is just clicking on the portal when it spawns, put everything in the way, and we got it. So we're one level away. We open another slot here, which is good. So I can now have, when I get the time, I can get Exploding Palm back. But it's hard to do in this act. I'm just going to check
I
for a
will
shrine.
not do that.
Okay. Certain maps have very high chances of shrines appearing in certain areas. Always worth checking in case you get a fleet shrine or even it's an empowered shrine, gives you lower cooldowns.
Yeah, that's good. More zoom. You always got to be cognizant of the shrine tables.
Well, I didn't bring up the shrine tables, but they are very interesting to talk about.
Good.
sometime, if you have the time.
It's a really good joke there.
That's a
Two people
bad affix to get from an elite there. That is
Yeah,
also
that's
a
Jailer.
bad enemy to run
As fast
into.
as possible.
As Jailer put you in CC, you can't dodge it. Just happens.
You
That's
can
right.
dash out of it immediately, but unfortunately I didn't have the charge.
So you're paying for a greedy use of your charges there, is it? Would that be a lesson to you kids out there?
We have been telling you to hold on to your dashes as well, so it's a shame that you didn't have one up then.
So we didn't get great luck, but we did get a fleeting shrine, which might make up for it.
Another goblin. Gone. Okay, there we go.
Last spawn. Just protection.
Obviously, because protection shrine just reduces damage you take by 25%, but that's not an issue in the normal run through. No point. Not even worth the click. Definitely not the journey there.
If it did do something like protect against knockback or something, it would actually be useful. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a dud.
I don't have enough spirit.
So Tyrell's a bit scared, and you have to make sure there's no enemies around him before he'll talk to you.
I'm seeing a lot of socketed items dropping. Do you keep your eyes peeled for gems?
Yeah, I do hang on to them.
You just want rubies for the most part?
Thanks for the reminder. Yeah, they make
It's a team.
it's a very small impact, but yeah, rubies on weapons, dex on green gems for dex on other body gear.
Chucking
You
a
do
diamond in the helm?
You do cycle your inventory so much that it's not a huge impact. But here I'm just going to be trying to read tiles just from the outlines on the minimap.
Is this an okay time for me to read it?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Cool. We have a $20 donation from Chris and Caitlin who say, Hi meatr0o, P-Blockty and Gassy. Loving the casual commentary as you're being chased by unspeakable horrors from the underworld. May all your dashes be juicy.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much, but casual commentary?
Yeah, that's right.
I think you mean
It's casual
professional? Thank you.
Alright, so the main part about this boss is we're trying to avoid getting frozen, so I just want to get enough spirit, do enough damage that I can probably execute him. If you don't kill him fast towards the end of his life bar, he can double freeze you, which sucks.
It's obvious time loss, being frozen in place.
Nothing fast about that. I think I just saw the exit on the bottom. Yeah, I did.
Oh,
That's very nice.
sorry, I made that noise. Ooh.
So that's a gift, so I know exactly which direction to go. So Diablo is going to be another damage check for us. So this is the last of the non-expansion content.
Anything you need to look out for when fighting Diablo?
Yeah, so he's going to run away from us a lot in the first phase, so I just want to try and kill him as quick as possible without using my 7-sided strike. And I want to have enough spirit for the second phase to use my 7-sided, because I really want to kill him in one 7-sided He is such a coward. Alright, to the second phase. I'm just going to try and walk through the cutscene and get close to him. But I will. Oh! Yeah, damage isn't quite high enough. So now I've got to fight shadow clones with myself, do it all again, and now that I don't have the 7-sided, he might spear again.
But as we said before, no world record holder over 4 cycles of us, though, right? There it is.
There's only 3 cycles.
No, that's fine.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
fine.
even
The fact remains, though.
True.
I mean, that,
so I might get 7-sided straight back here, which is depressing, but useful. So he's going to ride in pain for a while. He does have a guaranteed legendary drop, but it takes about like 10 to 15 seconds for it actually to come out, so we're not even going to bother waiting for it.
So we're reaching the kind of dreadful area where you have to play the game, right? We haven't found a balance. We haven't found anything to trivialize the game yet. You will have to
interact
Yeah,
with
use-
mechanics.
yeah,
And
use
nobody
mechanics.
likes that.
That skill.
We're still playing the game. So Act 5 is probably the most difficult to act. The maps are all big and quite random. And Malthael at the end is actually a difficult boss who has a very great chance of killing us, especially with our damage being this low at this point. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep my level as low as possible so that fight against Malthael doesn't go bad.
Yeah, because you will hit your peak at 20.
Yeah,
And
once I
then
hit 20, I'll get the last of the speed skills that we're going to get. And then,
all downhill.
yeah, every additional level I get just makes Malthael more likely to kill us.
All downhill after 20. Isn't that right, Gussie?
Yeah. In my case, it just felt downhill since 0.
We are about
It's
to
just a
get
little
it.
timed event. We've got to wait for the other skeletons.
There it
to come out.
is.
So there's 20. Do our skills.
Good time to get it during the timed event.
Again, because it was as quick as a blur, I couldn't even detect it. I saw you lock in Exalted Soul. What was the second rune you changed?
So I got Tailwind, so when I Tempest Rush, I now get a move speed increase as well. So this Death Maiden's going to try and run from us. Just going to get move speed off these views. So yeah, now every time I Tempest Rush, I move faster. So I obviously want to Tempest Rush as much as possible, but it does cost Spirit. So I'll have to ration my Spirit as well, because I will need that to kill bosses with my damage like it is. So here we're just trying to get to the next zone, going on as little loops as possible.
It cannot be done.
And in terms of reading the tiles for Act 5, do you have much to go on at all?
Not particularly. So we've just hit a big loop.
Yeah, so that's exactly the type of thing that can happen in this act quite a bit. I would like to say hopefully it won't happen again, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's another similar tile on the run to Azal. Yeah, it can be tough to predict those on the fly sometimes.
That was the infamous dash into a dead end. We've all been there, and we've never liked it.
Yeah, this is a
It's
particularly
important
bad
to
one.
explore the map though, just to be sure that you found the exit by the end.
Hopefully I've explored so much that the only place left is the correct way.
There we
There
go.
we go. So we'll be approaching the tile from the northwest, so yeah, I'm trying to put myself in a position.
So that early turn off, obviously, a bit of a red herring there.
Yeah, it's not going to be the right way.
I would have fallen for it, 100%.
It's not so bad. It was a bad start, but sometimes that run can be just very long, even when you know the right way is.
That death
so I just have to kill these corpse piles. So I'm just going to exploding palm these.
It also puts a damage over time effect.
It does have a damage over time effect.
And then she'll suck me in. Exploding palm 1 and 7-sided strike.
Okay. So now heading on into the cemetery. Anything to look out for here? It's just, I believe it's just another set of Act 5 tiles, just going through, trying not to get lost.
Yeah, it's sort of like a 50-50 split. The best way to navigate these is literally just to hug the wall and look for this bridge here. So these can be quite big and punishing if the exit's right near the entrance and you miss it. But we got very lucky there. So on this one, we just want to get near the near the edges, because we'll see the exit when we close, and that was very good as well.
Okay, is now possibly another good time for any announcements as well, if you'd like to go for it?
Yeah.
Yep. I would just like people to be aware of there's an incentive for the Jack and Daxter, the precursor legacy. There is a bid war for what language the runner will do his run in. There's Japanese, English, German, and Spanish. Right now, Japanese is in the lead by $10. So if you want to change the tide of which language the run will be in, be sure to get your donations in. And we are 63% of the way to get that superliminal 80% run. So let's try and get that too. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so you'll notice it's a very similar looking tile set. This one usually isn't as bad as the first set. So we're looking for Urzale.
Probably not a speed boost there, even though it looked like it, because you are slowed up beginning.
Yeah, the knockbacks are never good. So we haven't had to make any decisions yet, which is what we like to see. So the exit to get to Urzale is going to be northwest, so that's what I'm sort of trying to
Narrowly
keep my
dodged a
eyes out
jailer there
for.
as well. So they leave Urzale another example of big talk, absolutely nothing to back it up with.
He's got a cool gun thing.
He has got a cool gun. May not even get to use it in the fight. I don't know. How are you feeling about your DPS at the moment, meatr0o? Not great.
Not great.
Yeah.
I do see...
Lost for words.
Speechless. Which reminds me, I missed out on another absolute zinger for when we beat Act 2. Let's just pretend we just killed Zoltan Cool, and then I'm like, more like Zoltan. Uncool.
Okay. So that was the act.
Yeah, no, like several acts ago. It was like
Okay,
40 minutes
yes.
ago, yeah, but I had prepped that one in the shower today. Can't let that kind of genius go to waste. Did you get it?
I do get it, but here we are at the tower.
More like Urzale.
The fight is underway. Has not made an action yet. Is actually performing an action.
So he's going to stun us and we have to listen to him for a bit. Try and listen to his reasoning as little as possible. We just know that he's wrong and existence should...
You can see as the
continue.
fight progresses, there would be debris falling from the roof you would have to avoid, but not really an issue in the slightest.
You know when you're a chat.
That's right.
Yeah, the bosses in Act 5 actually are quite hard. He does do damage and can hurt us quite a bit and takes a while to kill. So I'm going to do a trick here where I'm going to walk back. Oh.
A bit of a misfire there on a skill, but recovered quickly enough.
It happens to all of us at one point or another, and that's fine. No shame in that.
That's a really good try. Yeah.
Power Shrine, that's juice.
So we will waste a bit of it here because we've just got a sort of timed fight where we've got to kill all these guys. that spawn.
We have entered the phase where you are getting experience you don't want now as well. And the bosses, if we can stay as low level as possible, will be faster and easier. Yeah, hopefully they don't outscale us, pretty much.
Very good point, Ben. Expertly made. I didn't notice this hit 20 and I say
So
us.
here's another point where a double dash will happen. I went for it there just because I have empowered, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, so there's what used to be a very difficult and large map coming up next, but another runner, Hexen, was able to find a trick that saves us a lot of time. So there's 3 dungeons that could potentially be the right way to go on quite a big map. We used to have to look for all these Nephilim guide stones to eliminate all the incorrect ones. But if they're close, you can just enter them, and if you see a red ghost, it's the wrong one. And if you see a green ghost, it's the correct one. So it's interesting that the developers put in such a specific tell.
And I don't suppose you don't have any kind of lore explanation for that coloration of ghost, do you?
So we haven't
Green
seen a
equals
single-
go, red
we haven't
equals
seen
stop.
a single ghost yet, which is not great. Red. In the wrong one. So not the worst. Luckily they're quite close together.
It's a good time to have the empowered shrine though, right?
Yes, very good. I always seem to get them when I have to backtrack, so it doesn't save me any time, but I don't.
Emotionally, the burden is less.
Yeah. Right, so we're looking for the entrance to the second level here. So this map will generally be like one big loop. So I'm hoping to avoid that. It's really just sort of like 50-50 whether you go the right way.
And we have the return of...
Oh, whether I go the right way. There are other runners that are better at this style than me, but I seem to have got it.
What you ask is impossible.
So much the same for this one. There's usually a big loop on this map, but unfortunately this map's usually a lot bigger as well, so if we do go the wrong way, it can be very punishing.
It's pretty hard not to get a lot of experience through here as well, right? Because of the low HP horde types.
Just pouring out of the walls. Unfortunately, dashing strike does have a strike if it isn't just a dash.
I know. It's got pretty low damage, but it's enough to... Yeah.
Oh, was that a... I didn't see a rubber band there. There as well, I don't think we did mention that you do have to play Diablo 3 online.
Quite a
which means
controversy.
Yeah. Yes, it was a controversy at launch. And it does mean you are at some of the whims of the servers at times. And we haven't seen anything too bad, but you can lose a bit of progress, backtrack a bit just because things haven't updated properly, maybe a bit of latency issues.
Yeah,
Jailer here to put salt in the wound.
Let that one go. We also see the return of doors in this map as well.
The unwelcome return.
The unwelcome return of doors, yeah.
Just trying to check that there's no tiles or exits I might have missed.
So you can
There
see
we go.
the kind of struggles you have in this act, with the maps being that large.
That one in particular can just have branches off tiles that even in the middle of a loop where the exit ends up being, it can be very punishing, that one. But it was long, the run, but it wasn't too bad.
Did you just kill Leah's mum?
Yeah, that was Adrian.
That was Leah's mum, unfortunately.
Was that pre or post reunion dinner? This is really important.
Well, Leah's no longer with us either.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, oh my god. You're home wrecker.
Leo may have been Diablo. I was never quite clear on that. Had Diablo inside of
Inside her or something. So I'm just going to try and group these guys up and get Exploding Palm to do as much work as possible. We try and kill the first one in the middle as quick as possible because it has a jailer affix. Okay, so we're entering the end game now. So there's a timed event with some gates where we'll do another waypoint skip. So Imperius is just going to watch above as we run past all these gates, and then fly down and insult us when we don't kill these enemies fast enough for him.
So I guess this is again another time for announcements and donations if you'd like to go ahead as well.
Great. We have $25 from a horrible goose who says, "Good luck for the rest of the run, boys. Came for meatr0o who menus faster than my eyeballs refresh rate. Stayed for the A+ chat from P Block2 and the A- chat from Gussie. Please add to the superliminal incentive." Thank you so much for that donation.
I don't think she read that right.
Oh yeah, I think there must have been a typo in there somewhere.
All right, so
Two
here we're
typos.
gonna knock over these siege weapons before we kill Belphegor and get his siege rune, because they keep shooting at us. Actually, we have our homing pad, so we didn't need to do it. But we're gonna skip to the waypoint, which opens up earlier, and skip listening to him talk and explain what a siege rune is.
So what is a siege rune then, meatr0o? Didn't? Okay.
I should have listened.
You should have listened.
So here, this is a very big random map. So we're looking for more siege runes that are being kept by demons. So here's one that spawns in the middle, and there's one that spawns on the edge. So I'm just going to Exploding Palm this guy, get his siege rune. Oh, and this is fantastic, actually. They're right next to each other.
So it was actually indicating where it was by the time you finished.
Yeah, they're both right next to each other. It's extremely, extremely rare. And then once you get those two, it tells you where the exit is, which isn't so far away. So that was a really good Battlefields of Eternity. That can be a very painful map that forces you right at the end of the run to explore the entire map. And there's a lot of dead ends and mobs slowing you down.
Quite a short eternity, huh, Gussie? On the Battlefields of Eternity?
Yeah, well, I assume they've
Well, you
been,
can't
they've been
even-
warring here before I got here. And maybe they'll continue to do so after I leave, but we're speedrunning, so we don't have eternity. So there's one guy who's going to try and stop us getting on the ram. He's very protective of it.
And he put
Fortunately
up
for him, that's where we're headed.
no fight at all. And so the ram is nothing you can really do to speed this up, is there?
So what we've got to do is, there'll be some mobs that spawn and chains that come down. The chains are what slows down the event. We've got to make sure we kill the chains as fast as possible. So there are things that we can do. It is kind of static, but what we'll try and do is, on the chain spawns, we'll sit up the top of the ram because less mobs tend to spawn if we're up here. So after this hit,
Yeah, destroy the hooks.
it's better to be able to one-shot those. That's the boat we're in at the moment. So an elite's going to spawn with these chains now, so we're going to keep one of these guys alive. Exploding Palm him. 7-sided. Oh, just missed it. Wasn't too bad.
But essentially this is a bit like the elevator level of Diablo 3. This is the forced wait.
Essentially, yeah. So finally ID that gold wrap, and it was. So these are our last 2 random maps to navigate. So we're just going to run to a particular tile and jump.
Juicy
And
one.
ignore material.
That was lovely.
The monk's visited by some spirit who I think is going to give us some kind of blessing that lets us avoid death. Something like that. I can't really remember.
Those gates that you just ran through, actually, if you get hit by them, they can slow you down, freeze you?
Yeah, they freeze you if you're too slow to walk through them, so hopefully I'll avoid doing that. So we're just looking for the exit, which more often than not will spawn on the east side here, so we're just sort of hedging our bets by running and hugging the east wall. Looks pretty good. Here we go. Alright, so this is the last level before we fight Malthael.
And so in terms of level 23 for Malthael, how do you feel about that? Not too bad?
I'm at a good level. I'm not overly leveled, but my damage is a bit on the low side. So I'm a little scared. It seems to have less to do with... yeah, he's going to do damage to us regardless of what level I am. It's not going to be as bad, but if I don't kill him fast enough, it could just get too much. So I'm going to...
Do you have any backup strategies if you don't have the DPS for that?
Drop balance in the next minute.
Yeah, that would be nice. Lucky for me, when you do die, you respawn right outside. Is all I'll say. So I don't want to abuse my spirit too much because I won't get all of it back by the time I hit Malthael, and I will need a lot of spirit to be able to do some good damage to him.
So there is still a chance for a balance though. There are still enemies.
Very, very slim.
We actually might get the balance drop on Malthael as well.
Yeah, as
That would be
prophesized.
insulting.
That would be very insulting. Will you stick around for the item drops?
We will get to see the item drops, yeah. Okay, so we're done with the last random level. So the strategy for Malthael really is he has some iframes, so I'm just going to try and avoid bursting my damage into those iframes. You can shorten them by... The iframes are while he's talking to you about his agenda or whatever. Whatever he's on about, ending the universe or something. So what I'm going to try and do is mash space to skip him talking to me. Didn't really get any iframes, that was pretty good. I'm going to hopefully get 7-sided or do enough damage that I won't need it.
See the damage starting to tick up as well from the fog there.
It's the first time he's been low that the thing came up.
Just didn't avoid the... So we do get some iframes here. He is going to go down, but yeah, if you kill him fast enough, you can skip that casting time with the iframes.
So when is time for the...
So time will be when I talk to Tyrael, but yeah, that was...
the entirety of Diablo 3?
That was the entirety of Diablo 3.
A lore retelling from start to finish.
We got Crushbane.
Okay.
Oh, great. So yeah, time will be when I talk to Tyrael here. Time.
Hey, well done.
All right. Thanks everyone for having me. That was a lot of fun. It didn't go as smooth as we would have liked in the start, but we did get some great luck and got to show on some of the maps and got to show some cool tricks. But yeah, thanks so much for having me. Always a pleasure. Great event. Thanks for everyone for putting it on and for all you guys watching and donating at home. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, fantastic event. Thanks for everyone who donated. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
We'll get off the lounge.